Hello everybody, Josh12 back here again with another video, and I'm here with another Game of Thrones review. Yes, I'm here to give you my official review for Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 8, titled No One. Now, of course, if you haven't seen this episode, please go check it out because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into the newest episode of HBO's original series, Game of Thrones. Now, let's just put it out there. I am mostly, because I am such a huge fan, mostly doing this review because I want to talk about my personal thoughts on the next episode rather than this episode itself. That's pretty much the best way I can put it, because this episode, even though it was good, it just wasn't an episode that I liked to the point I would want to do a review for. But seeing as how the trailer for the next episode hyped me up so much and simultaneously scared me that I just have to talk about it. So that's pretty much why I'm doing this review in the first place. But with that being said and done, let's get into the actual video. Now, obviously, this episode was mostly a Jaime episode. It was basically just him trying to take down the Blackfish, the castle, get it back, and of course Brienne comes in to take care of, try to be a middleman, if you will, for the two of them. And I do have to say one thing. I guess to a certain extent, apologize for my thoughts on the previous review, or at least the previous time we saw Brienne and Sansa together, because when I saw the sequence where Sansa was writing a letter, I got the idea that she was writing to Baelish. Apparently, the letter was supposed to go to Blackfish to get them over to the north to help out the Alliance to fight Ramsay Bolton and take back Winterfell. That's pretty much what Sansa's doing at this exact time. And that's why Brienne is over here where Jaime's at, where the castle's at, so they can find a way to pretty much get Jaime succeeding in his mission, so we can go back to Cersei because he's a douchebag, and of course get the castle to the fray because, fuck, good people don't win, bad people must get everything, so give it to them. And that's pretty much what's going on. Brienne's just kind of like in the middle trying to save everybody without actually having anything to lead to death, and I really did not care. I really did not want to care. However, I will state this, after seeing the episode in full, I love Brienne's moments in this episode. I feel like she's just such a great, the actress who portrays her, but the character itself is just such a great, just a great character. And the arc just continues to go on and on and on. Her missions, I feel like she doesn't really succeed at anything she does. However, she keeps trying and she's still persistent and stubborn about it, so I just love that about her. However, the big thing to take away from this is that it's mostly a Jaime episode. The episode itself focuses heavily on Jaime Lannister's duality, which is, on one side, he's a douchebag, self-appointed, pretentious, piece of shit guy who's obsessed with one woman who is equally a piece of shit human being, and that's the only thing you can say about them. That's it. That's pretty much the extent. Then there's the second half of Jaime, where he's interacting with his friends, and he talks to Brienne, and he's like, he listens, and he cares, and he's like, he has a general interest on not really killing anybody the same way he did maybe back a couple seasons ago, or even like season 1. And that's the Jaime I like. I like Jaime when he's the good guy, but when he's, or at least at most, or at best, the anti-hero. But in this episode, it really leaves you with not knowing where Jaime lies in the demographic of hero, anti-hero, and villain. He does terrible things in this episode to take down the castle, to take back the castle. He manipulates the situation, and he gets what he wants, because he wants to desperately be back with Cersei. However, it just comes off as just such an overly douchebaggery moment where it's like, do I still like you? Come on, you were the guy where you broke down and you told the truth about why they call you the Kingslayer, and you just ruin it by being like, I want to be with Cersei, so nothing else matters. Ha 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 ha. It's like, fuck off, you bastard. It's just, I don't know. For me, it just tore me apart as to, I want to like you, but you're such a fucking little asshole. I just want to hit you in the face with something. And that's pretty much where I'm left off with this episode. I don't know whether or not I like or care about Jaime going forward with this season, or at least with future seasons until something different happens. Moving off of that, because it is not the only focus of the actual episode. The main focus outside of that is Cersei, Tyrion, and Arya. Now, let's start off with the Cersei stuff, because it's not really that extensive. Apparently, as we've figured out, Cersei plans on doing her trial-wide combat. That's basically what she wants to do. She's been very successful at that. I mean, like, if you've not seen The Mountain versus the Viper, then you don't know what the fuck's going on, and I feel sorry for you. However, that shit is crazy. And she knows she can win because she has the Mountain, or at least the Zombie Mountain, or whatever the fuck you want to call him. The big asshole with muscles that should not exist, basically. That's what that guy is. And she wants to use that to win this trial so she can continue on her path to take down the High Sparrow and whatever the fuck else she wants to do. And as I continue to state in my reviews for Game of Thrones this entire season, is that I don't believe she's going to get what she wants this season. I know a lot of people love Cersei, and Lena Headey is a phenomenal actress, and she plays her part very well, and she's good at it. But she is, at the end of the day, a terrible person, and she needs to deal with the fact that she's going to have to answer for her sins one day. And this is really the season that lays the foundation of her, paying for those sins. And this is the section where shit goes down for her. Apparently, the king or bastard kid, whatever the hell you want to call him, he continues to talk about nonsense. But the importance of his speech that he does give within the episode is the fact that there will not be, from here on out in the realm, there will be no trial by combat. So pretty much Cersei's last hope of winning said trial against the High Sparrow is pretty much out the fucking window. That's pretty much the best way I can put it. And I feel like, well, I kind of expected that shit to go down. I always had that feeling that something like that could happen within this episode, and it finally did. And I can only say, well, there you go. Moving off of that, Tyrion. Tyrion fucks up, he gets shit done, but then again, there's a war going on in the castle. Daenerys comes back, kudos for her. Ironically enough, she had to come back at a terrible time where her fucking shitty-ass excuse of a city is being destroyed, and then that's it. That's pretty much the extent of Tyrion. Now, the extent of the episode follows with Arya. Arya, oh my god, she is really going down crazy in this episode, and I don't know where she's going to go on beyond this episode, but I will say this. Her arc in this season, has been very lackluster for me. I was never really interested or bought on to her arc being in this certain place, but I will state this. Her ending off the battle against the chick with no face, or at least now she has no face, was awesome. The way it ended was amazing. It was kind of sad to a certain extent that this episode didn't really give us the fights that we really wanted, which was Arya versus that chick, and Jaime versus the Blackfish. This is the stuff that we really wanted to see. It was hyped up in the previous episode. At least me personally, I wanted to see a final battle between these two groups of people. However, we didn't get that. Blackfish pretty much dies honorably. Of course, he had the chance to leave and go to the north to help out Sansa, but obviously, shit happens, Game of Thrones. And then, of course, on the flip side, you have freaking Arya taking down the fucking chick with no face and literally taking down her fucking face. We didn't get to see it. However, I do respect the Arya part more because the way it ended off was suspenseful, a lot of tension was in there, and it was great. The lead up to that fucking finale, however, was god-awful. I did not like the whole chase scene. I mean, like, what's with this world where... Imagine you're in Game of Thrones world, and you're just hanging out. You're outside, you're wearing some shitty-ass excuse of clothes because no one knows how to make jeans, and you're hanging out with oranges. And out of nowhere, chicks, little tiny people, girls are fucking running around crazy trying to kill each other. Like, what kind of world is that where I'm just trying to hang out, and there's fucking chicks running around trying to kill each other? What's with this person? How did the face come off and what is happening in this fantastical world of craziness in this chase scene? It was a humongous debacle that I just did not like. I could not get into it. I like the ending where it laid off, where the door closes, she cuts the candle in half, the light falls and it's done. I loved it. The lead up and the build up to the fight, or at least the whole chase, was god awful. I did not like it at all. That's pretty much the best way I could put it. But that's pretty much what happens in this episode. I mean, Jaime has his whole arc, which, is what it is. Then you have Cersei kind of getting fucked over. You have Tyrion basically doing what Tyrion does best, which is talk shit and drink wine. And then you have Arya basically stating that she is now officially Arya Stark again, and she's going home. Where is home? Who the heck knows? We'll see what happens. But of course, the creme de la creme, the Hound. He came back, he kicked some ass, and he killed the Brotherhood. But is he going to join them later on? I really don't care. All I really want to see the Hound do at this point in time is get back with Arya. Hopefully they don't kill each other. And of course, Clegane Bowl. Let's get that shit going, Game of Thrones. I want to see that. But with all that being said and done, this episode was good. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite out of the season. I definitely did not like a lot of factors that went into the episode. So overall, I'm going to have to give this episode a solid 6 out of 10. It was okay. And if there's another thing that really ups up the verdict, if you will, has to be the cinematography and look. Game of Thrones, HBO, everyone involved with the filming of and photography of the show and the set decoration and the overall locations are always phenomenal. I've always really felt that true, but this season has really upped up the game with set decoration, set locations, photography, cinematography. The filming of these great, filming locations and sets are so freaking good. They're so beautiful to look at, and that's the best thing I can say about what we've seen. I mean, like last episode, I forgot to mention it. There were some really good, beautiful shots there. This episode had that as well. It just looked amazing. So that's kind of like another factor that really ups up the final verdict, but I pretty much state that it stands. My final verdict is a solid 6 out of 10. But with that being said and done, let's get into the real reason as to why I did this freaking review in the first place. Next episode, Jon Snow versus Ramsay Bolton. Shit is going down. Is that really happening? I can't believe it's already happening. It's already here. My mind cannot handle this. My heart, body, soul, and mind cannot handle this shit. I can't. I want to see it, and I really don't want to at the same time. I'm extraordinarily scared because they're outnumbered. They're outnumbered. They can't win. Granted, Jon Snow, I like to feel that he may be a better strategist, maybe a better leader than Ramsay, but Ramsay has much more numbers, and he's a sadistic bastard, and he's also pretty good at this kind of stuff as well, leading his men to battle and killing people, but based off that trailer, I can honestly say that nothing. I keep saying this. Like this is the number one thing I wanted to see this season. That I really want to see it. That I'm so hyped for it, but I'm so scared because I don't want to see these freaking characters die. I want to have just an episode of Ramsay dying, but I just feel like that may not happen. At least the way we want it to. Will Peter Baelish have any kind of factor in any of this? I don't know. I mean, the Blackfish and the Tullys are pretty much fucked over here, and the North is gigantic in comparison to Jon and Sansa's little army, so it's just a gigantic debacle of biblical proportions. But I do say this, I can't wait to see that episode, and I really hope Jon doesn't die again, because that would just be horribly redundant. I hope Sansa doesn't get raped by 1,000 people, and of course, etc., etc., shit will go down. But with that being said and done, let me know what your personal thoughts and speculation for that episode that'll be coming up, the newest episode of Game of Thrones. And of course, let me know your personal thoughts on what I had to state in this episode, of course. And with that being said and done, shameless plug time. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jonch12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Jonch12.